Top 8 3 times, but here on the other side of things, I mean, PR number 2, look at this man's placements. He's been around for a while. Is Used relatively new?
More or less. In terms of like actual playtime in years, that I'm not super sure on, but in terms of like placing this deep in tournament, absolutely. Coming in at PR5 does have a little bit of history placing pretty deep in the bracket because we're not seeing like PR18 or anything like that, but also at the most recent South American LAN, at the Caratada LAN that was put on, Used came out on top in that one, beating Kaina in the grand finals off the back of this lance. One of the nastiest lances in the world. I can't wait to see how it shakes up in this. It was with Orion at Caratada, but he's starting out here with the Ulgrim.
He also had the top 8 finish over at Springs too, so he's been very consistent of late. But like we were saying before, something you've seen quite a bit in South America is that lance, of course, attached to West most of the time, but Used performing well. But you have to watch out for Power Ranger playing the Val right now, just with the Akuma crossover. He's been cooking everybody up to this point, to say the least. It hasn't been a good time for many people who have been sent to eliminations by the hands of Power Ranger.
I mean, I have to say, though, he's actually doing a pretty good job of dealing with this so far, almost getting that stock with the D-Light. Needed just a little extra oomph on top of that, but this stock can still be, could have been stolen right there. You saw the ground pound come out. Great defense there from Used to use that neutral to thwart that and actually turn that into a KO. Used getting most of that damage with the Rocket Lance and then swapping over to that Axe. I mean, pretty effective strategy if you can, if I do say so myself. That Axe definitely, you drop a Sair, you drop a neutral light, it's gonna KO.
He does have the Axe in his hand here. It looks like he's still in a pretty decent spot, depending on what moves Power Ranger actually makes contact with. I don't think a Gauntlet Recovery is going to be the KO at this point. He might be hoping for the sword, or maybe just goes for the raw side signature. We've seen Val players start to lean on that more. Does have the sword in hand. Neutral light from the middle of the stage just turns him red. Yeah, and a lot. Again, User's reactions on defense off stage have been so good. He is unfortunately unarmed right now. It seems to be a little bit more difficult to get back, but he got that previous stock off the GC neutral lights in the air. He got the Nair to get back on the stage before when Power Ranger went off against him, and he's still holding on to this first stock so far. User's defense has been immaculate as he dodges yet another ground pound.
Okay, he's going to get back to the stage real quick, too. I mean, a little scary. I see him throwing out a lot more SIGs, but I think at this point in time, you're like, all right, my stock's on borrowed time. Maybe I can just get like a big hit. Finally loses that, but does get quite a bit of damage here on Power Ranger. So Power Ranger sitting already in the deep orange, about to hit that red relatively soon. No weapons in hand for Used, though, so that's going to be lucky for him. Hopefully he can get a nice weapon starve going. If we're looking back at some of the detailed history between these two players, the last time they met in an official tournament was South America Winter Championship 2022. Now we're seeing a lot of different characters that were played then compared to what we're seeing now. That was a Power Ranger Koji, which now we're seeing the Val. It was a Volkov, it was a Roland, and it was a Vector coming out from Used, but now we have the Ulgrim coming in. So we're definitely seeing some change-ups there from these players. All right, man, and honestly, with that being said, I mean, I can see the swap-up is a little less volatile for Power Ranger, but Val, obviously a character that you see a lot of anyway, so I feel like he's, over the years, he probably has just kind of picked up some things, and now he's kind of putting his own finesse on it. On the other side of things, though, man, I think you really have to spend some time with, with the Lance to really figure out how to use it. And, well, Used seems like he spent the time because he's got a nice little lead developing here, and most of that, I feel like, has been on the back end of a Lance. I know we were talking about at the beginning of this how South America likes to scrap. We've been looking forward to that, but this has been a game of defense so far, and neither one of them have been budging first because they've been waiting for that big whip punish. But now Used going off right now, has the lead, looking for Power Ranger to go in a little bit early. That would have absolutely sealed that stock. Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, you saw how high up he was. I think that definitely would have taken that. It was about like a good stage height over the actual stage. So, you know what I mean? We still had a lot of area to cover right there. But it seems like he's doing a good job. That had to have been a disconnect issue or a rollback in that one moment, because Power Ranger seemed like he wanted to move towards that side of the stage, but then just all of a sudden the control was completely gone. But I mean, we still had a very confident lead coming out from Used. Still had two stocks at that moment of impact when Power Ranger actually lost that stock. So this is looking pretty good for Used so far. It seems like he was able to handle Power Ranger, both when he had the Axe in the hand and when he had the Lance in the hand. He wasn't really weapon starved for too long, so it seemed like that wasn't an issue for him to overcome whatsoever. Now we're seeing the taunt coming out. That is a classic option to show that you're having a connection issue. Of course, we see the SDs coming out. Because it is within 10 seconds of the game starting, we're going to reset this one. This one did not happen. It's like me when I try to remember anything, it's gone. Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah, facts.
True.
I mean, we can
Okay.
we can agree on that one. Yes,
Yeah.
we can go along with that. But something we can't forget, of course, is that gameplay from the first game. You look so upset with me right now for putting that game.
Yeah,
in
I
on
mean,
your side. I'm sorry.
there are two other people on the desk, and they could have been like, "Nah, man, you're smart. You remember stuff. It's cool."
Nah, I can't give that to you anymore because I mean you spent a lot of time letting us know that you are very forgetful in this, and so. But I remember that you're forgetful.
Yeah,
So
I appreciate that. I appreciate
You
that.
built up to the moment on it too much, and we're going to see them, of course, go away again here on Demon Island. So
we're not doing this
hopefully we'll
either?
get
Okay.
that solved pretty soon. But that first game, even with the beginning of the replays we saw, it was all the defensive use. The use was not getting hit off stage, was waiting for Power Ranger to burst to try and go for an edge guard, and then smack them away very well. Was consistently playing in the skies as well too. Was barely getting hit when he was trying to find the landing. That plays against you, especially as someone like Val who wants to find those recovery reads to get a knockout in.
Yeah.
Users just basically making them very hard to find in that first game.
all right, third time's a charm here. Hopefully, we are definitely loaded up. As you guys see behind us, we'll be hoping that we're getting to the right stage and the connection's good and all that good stuff. Apocalypse. And
Hoping that this one is going to be the one
Come
to
on.
do it. We'll see very quickly whether or not there's an issue. It's looking good. It's looking good. I think we're going to be moving on into this
Okay.
one as we get 10 seconds in. We are almost past the window to where you can get the restart, and now we are. Looks like we're going to play this one out. But a lot of what Power Ranger was doing, those like critical Val things of using the signatures, using them right over the corner, using them with those unique properties up against the wall, none of those things were really working for Power Ranger against use. Like we saw a D-Light into a GC side signature right over the corner, sort of that strange option that you might not be ready for. Didn't catch Yu's lacking whatsoever. He saw it coming, was ready for it, and got away.
Ooh.
Yo, there, as I say that, as I live and breathe, we see the signature right over the corner, that unique Val property.
That was the longest build-up to a commentator's curse we've heard all day. Like, it's like, let me just line this up, and then Power Ranger's going to showcase exactly why this can work, even though it didn't work all that whole first game. And a very large lead after that. Very well played for stock, too.
That's not like that was a blessing to me, man. We were talking about the fact that, hey, this needs a hit, and he was like, you're right. And so he finally hits it. And even then, like, you saw how many resources Hughes had to use to get back. Hughes was setting up to get immediately ground pounded if he was able to touch the wall. So it wouldn't have mattered regardless if he was able to touch the wall or not. He's going to be off that stock, and now he's got a lot to work toward. But I think Power Ranger is kind of in his zone right now.
Ooh, yeah, it kind of feels like it. Like, you can see the moments are starting to click more for Power Ranger after that first game. It's like, okay, I'm going to play more mid-range with you, and I think the Gauntlet play has been a little bit better because he's actually been close enough that he can sneak out one of these side airs, which he just tried to do right there. And these dares are connecting a whole lot more, Sparky. It seems like he's kind of figured things out between that first game.
I would definitely agree with that. It seems like Hughes is also maybe not figuring things out. You saw that just raw side signature come out. I think he was maybe just fishing for something there, maybe a little bit desperate to get this stock, as we're coming in about 2 minutes into the game. Power Ranger finally losing this first stock. That was something Hughes didn't have trouble with, and all of a sudden, now he is. Power Ranger just needed that game one to sort of figure things out a little bit, and you see how it's paying dividends.
Yeah, I think Hughes, that was actually a really good read by Hughes just in general. Power Ranger has been kind of crossing him up the entire time, so he's like, all right, if I do a step back, you can't really cross me up for the same position. Finds the perfect neutral sig. Unfortunately, though, still has a crazy amount of damage onto him, and yeah, these Val Sigs will push you off the edge if he ends up finding one of them. Oh, okay. Thought he was going to try to land right there with a down air, but instead, okay, getting edge guard.
Oh,
triple.
okay. He's just throwing the whole sig back out. It's looking like the end of some of my ranked games here. He's ready to use these. He's ready to find this KO. Hopefully it doesn't get him into too much trouble. Able to get through, finds the nice side air. I was wondering, once he got that sword in the hand, whether he was going to go for some of those side signatures or anything like that to finish up the stock, maybe go for the D-Light setup or anything like that. But really, it was just Hughes for a while using those axe signatures. Power Ranger getting through some of them, getting hit by some of them. But because of those signatures, it seems like Hughes might be about to even this one up.
Yeah, it's getting that much closer. And simplicity is key. It's kind of been the way that Power Ranger's been playing. It's like there's not really too much reason to go too crazy. But Hughes finally finding a side air, going to go ahead and get that knockout that he was looking for before, but has not fallen away from using those signatures. Like you're just saying, we saw another one come out a second ago. And he's kind of committed to the bit for it. That can scare you, being the person who's constantly throwing them out. Like, yo, can you please calm down? And Power Ranger's playing a bit more like he's trying to respect them now.
It's the Taros thing, bro. You know, Taros throws out a bunch of sigs too, and you're like, man, I may have avoided that, but the idea is still in my head that I got hit by that. So I'm like still shook, and I need to make sure I don't get hit the next time. He's doing the same thing, except this time with Macho Man, who's very strong as well in his own right. But, you know, I think right now the SIGs are starting to get a little punished, so he might have to pull back on those quite a bit. Had a couple reads in that second stock, hasn't really seen success with them since.
Yu's damage output and pacing is actually really solid right now. They're trading like 1-for-1 hit, which is going to be in Yu's favor because he's using Axe, going to have high damage per move. And if he's hitting these neutral lights consistently, that's 18 or so damage that he's putting out onto Power Ranger every time. Meanwhile, Power Ranger finds a side light, gets hit by a Sair, and then a second move. Almost got caught by the bottom side of that, didn't even need it. Yu's now up 2-0 against Power Ranger.
I think he caught that jump, or he caught him before he hit the ground with that second Sair. And so therefore he didn't have anything left. And that's why he probably thought he hit the ground. But no, I'm pretty sure he got caught with that second Sair before he hit the ground, which is super clean right there because, yeah, look at that. He had nothing else to go for him immediately out of there. Love to see it. Good, recognition right there from Yu's and Power Ranger, kind of getting body on that one. It was a 50-50. He was that close to the ground. I also would have thought I got hit the ground before I got hit. So.
That's good positional control, too. Just throwing the recovery out right there forces you to have to go lower, and he just knew that a lot of resources were used building up to that point. And, oh, my God, I did what Zipper did earlier with the Yu's. But, just amazing job from Yu's right there to adjust on what was a good start from Power Ranger at the beginning. And I think a big part of that was, I can't remember which one of you two pointed out, but every trade-off between the two of these weapons at the end, Axe is going to be the one that wins out in that war no matter what. Users knowing, like, all right, my win condition's still online, you have to find a read.
Yeah, if it's straight hit for straight hit, the Axe is, pound for pound going to be that weapon. I think the only thing is really, like, kind of combating it for straight hits, just one hit will be the hammer. But even then, we're not seeing that anymore, so it's all on the Axe now.
Now we'll see if these signatures make their way into the Lance side of things as well. We did just see the side signature, but even before that, in the beginning of the game, when there wasn't even the option to really KO your opponent, we're seeing Yu's burn his dodges off stage to go for a GC neutral signature, which is one of the more quote-unquote like gimmicky signatures that Olgrim has, which is why we don't see it as often compared to the D-Sig, even compared to the side Sig as well, if we're talking about the Axe kit. Yu's now swapping over to the Lance. We'll see how much damage he can add up. Power Ranger going to be at the range disadvantage. Does hit the recovery, not quite enough damage built up. This one should do it, and it does.
Not too far off right there, able to keep himself calm, but I think the air-to-air game has just been all Yu's favor so far. Like, Power Ranger's been doing pretty solid on the ground. He's getting some straight hits, but every time we get in that spot right there, Yu's has been able to walk away with a lot. That being said, now, though, Power Ranger look like he's getting some of these grounded game working. He's just missing out on the sidelight, but he's been racking up quick damage until it's gotten to this point again where he's starting to challenge Yu's in the air and Yu's usually walking away on top.
Yeah, Yu's with the air, as far as how he's fighting in the air, he's doing quite well. But on top of that, it's like his just reaction time of, being able to get out of something and then immediately turning around. That's how he got that first side air that actually led into the game in the last game. But yeah, even on the side, you see, like, Power Ranger try to go for an edge guard. Yu's will somehow turn that around super quickly. And then now he's in the advantage. Not going to be able to do it this time, though. Doesn't really have a lot. Oh, but Power Ranger actually just retreats back to the stage. That should have been an easy ground pound right there. It's going to let Yu's live to see another day.
I think Power Ranger's just putting enough respect on to use his name. You see how he's been turning around everything that's been happening on stage. If we're talking about the vertical game, like you pointed out, that has been going for Yu's. What do you think is going to happen on the edge if your opponent is on the wall? It's probably going to be a vertical game straight up, straight down, which Power Ranger has been losing so far. So not going for that edge guard is probably, it's a reserved move, it's a safe move, and he has the lead here, so it looks like it's at least panning out for him so far.
I think it's the right game plan, too, because you've lost like 5 interactions off stage. So at that point, just keep playing center. That neutral light is going to go ahead and take that out. You're going to have to hold that. But either way, though, Power Ranger seems like he understands, I need to fight you center stage as much as possible. And Yu's now trying to meet him for that. But now unarmed, he has at least a little bit of time to try and make a pay for it.
Yeah, of course. You want to get that mean weapon starve. Couldn't keep it going for too long. Yu's immediately grabbing the first weapon that shows up. And now we are armed combat between our two competitors. The soul. Oh, okay. Big damage coming out from again. Just stays on that platform, keeps it going. Okay.
Power Ranger starting to actually get something going here. He's had this struggle going for a while now. Oh, go for a big play, but not going to get whip punish for it.
Going to ground pound right on the stage. Eats an Axe in light. Yu's punishing that landing. Nice side air. That is going to be the stock. Power Ranger just barely keeping himself in this one. He was down 0-2. Got the victory there. We're going to a game 4.
Man, that's how you do it, too. Like, Power Ranger, again, that's kind of like the power of what happens here in SA is, like, whenever they get that advantage and they can push it like that, that's an SA stock right there. And I was like, all right, man, I got the advantage one time, and I'm never giving it up. And that's exactly what he did. He made the right decisions every time. He stayed on top and got a lot of damage in a short amount of time, and then found the perfect side air to go ahead and thwart that recovery, and also the weapon toss to go ahead and make sure that he had no chance of coming back. Here we are in the game 4, as my man Sparky said. We'll get that on the board soon enough.
Now we're starting off Lance into Sword here, still in Apocalypse. Neither of these players seem to want to go to any other map. We've been playing on this one. We even saw Demon Island for a second, but that was one of those SD games that we were going to throw away. 30 seconds into this one. It is uses Axe. His Axe has been so good. I was thinking that his Lance was really going to be the star of the show here after watching him at Caratada, one of the nastiest Lances I've seen in a while. But he's really working on this Axe. He's doing so much damage for him. Just the raw neutral is so helpful when he has those giant Axe hitboxes, showing that Axe is still very much alive and well. We'll see if Use can make it back. He cannot. That first stock is done.
It was one of those mentalities where if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I think it might be that time where it's broken now, because Power Ranger played perfectly around a lot of what Use was looking for. Yeah, he got a lot of straight hit damage just because every hit you take from Axe is going to hurt, but Power Ranger was able to walk him off the side, finally going for one. Recovery not enough off the top. Actually, this Lance looking way better right now. Trying to catch him again, not going to get the dodge read. Power Ranger staying still, not going over to the left-hand side.
I think that's the thing about also Use too, is though, like, I don't think he was forced to start playing this Axe. Like, the first stock of this entire set was all Lance, and he went pretty like crazy on it. And then after that, he just chose to be on the Axe. So we might need to start to choosing being on this Lance a little more, because it does seem like the Axe is getting a little figured out. He might still be able to get this stock relatively soon. We do have a lot of damage double tapping him with the neutral layers, but still not finding that. Yeah, we're good. Big hit like that. The down light is going to send him packing.
I was going to say that those neutral layers are not really what he needs in the moment, but I mean, if you're going to knock out with an Axe down light, then you need every bit of damage that you can get on that stock, especially if you're hitting that Axe D light from the main of the ground.
I think the Axe just stays out there in the gauntlets. I haven't really seen the gauntlets win out against Use so far, but while the sword's been out, that's where it's been much better. He's been able to get a lot more pokes. You see him going with the D-lights to get the damage on. The Sarah going to give him stage position again like that. And we're seeing the same story play out here as that Axe kind of got dominated by the sword in that. Once you see the sword show up, try and quickly switch as you can, but he already took a lot of damage. I feel like it was not worth it to try and switch up to the Lance at that point.
Yeah, this is actually insane, the difference in gameplay between Power Rangers' first 2 games and now these last 2. I mean, it's clearly morphin time, because this man is definitely in his suit now, going crazy on the small as the I guess the Pink Ranger? I don't know. I'm going to go by the hair color. He's the Pink Ranger.
Got that call from Zordon, like, hey, yo, what you doing, bro? Like,
yeah, man.
like,
it's time.
It's time. It's been time. And Yu's going to go ahead and send them packing up to the skies off of another recovery read. One more chance now for Yus to try and move forward to get that comfortable position in Winterside of Grands.
Now, next weapon he picks up is going to be the sword. Or it actually might be gauntlets. I can't remember which one it is. Well, it may not even matter. Okay, it is a set of gauntlets. He actually threw his sword away towards the end of last stock to stick with the gauntlets, and then really didn't find a single hit. It's mostly been the sword. It almost looks like he's playing with a friend, and he hands the friend the controller on the gauntlets. Not that they're bad, but his sword is just looking so much better. It's finding so many more openings. We're seeing the swag coming out from the double D lights, which is a very rare occurrence. Now that sword is coming in. We'll see what he's able to do. He is a little bit behind. Starting it off with that Sarah, you see him running away, picks up a nice dare recovery. Instantly, he picks up the sword, 3 hits.
It's going now. Yeah, you're right. I think the gauntlets need to stay away. It's not been looking like the same exact person. As he goes for another side air, no, he tries to go for the chase on the recovery up. Back to the gauntlets here, TK.
I think you guys are making Power Rangers house a little hot right now, bro. His friend's like, they figured us out, man. Take it back, take it back. All right.
He took it back at the end as he finds the recovery. It's like, oh, wait.
So there we are, getting into a Game 5 situation here. Yeah, I mean, this has been kind of a dominant performance here on the side of Power Ranger. Not so much in this game, but the last game for sure. This he has very dominant like stretches though, and that's the thing. You know, once he gets that first hit, it's the SA advantage right there. I'm definitely going to go ahead and take that all the way to the next game. In the Game 5, who's going to be sitting in the Grand Finals? We're going to find out right now.
Power Ranger versus Yus. This almost looks like every other game that these players have played. Same characters, same colors, same maps. This time, Power Ranger starting out with the gauntlets in hand. It's Yus's Lance. Now, back in the day, there was a lot of argument about what the matchup was for Gauntlets into Lance. A lot of times it was favoring the Lance at that moment. Lance had some defensive options, obviously had those neutral airs that you're seeing to control so much airspace anytime your opponent pushes on top of you.
Yeah, you're less likely to look for a nair read when you're getting hit by the nair on Lance itself. It's so easy to box you out, as we see them try to chase with 2 on the way back down. But Power Ranger looking a little bit better here. Now here's the win condition. Gets back to the sword. Recovery's not going to be enough. Trying to find the landing right there, looking for maybe a few light side air on the side. Note, just going to go for the neutral lights and use his defense is picking up, but it has been kind of shattering a little bit by comparison to the other ones as we're sitting now, like you're saying, a game 5.
Yeah, I like to say though, we are on the Lance. Oh, okay, and just immediately off of it, he's like, I've had enough of this. I do feel as though that was kind of, my. Yeah, he trained you into that one, bro. Like, he was like, please, you basically got Venus flytrapped right there, bro. He's like, come on in.
I'm so low. I'm so close to the blast zone. Oh no, someone might come hit me. He said call an ambulance, but not for me. Down air comes out and he gets the KO.
Man, that's how you do it, man. You know, obviously, if you're going to get a good punish, that is easily the best punish he could have gotten in that situation. Gets a whole stock off it and returns back to the stage. And now he's going to try to build up some of this damage. Yu's going to be back onto the Lance. And while he is whiffing, I do feel as though he won't take as many like wild choices like. When he's on the axe, that ground pound just comes out.
I was gonna
right?
say, like, when the axe is out, that's when you're seeing 20,000 signatures show up. He's trying to showcase that his ability to get reads is there, but I don't think you could do that anymore against Power Ranger while he has the sword out. Even the Gauntlet was looking better in the last one, but Power Ranger just playing at that distance where he can find that side light. Side air coming through again. He's gonna catch him on his way back in. It just missing out on that one, but Power Ranger controlling the pace. Now going back to the Gauntlets in the midst of all that. Even with that looking good, and recoveries are now starting to hit.
That's going to disarm Hughes as well. He does pick up the weapon very quickly. Now Power Ranger is actually the one without a weapon. Spawn comes in. He's able to get over to it. He was already in the air. Grabs that sword very quickly. Look at the spacing game that Power Ranger is playing. Completely over spacing. Anything that Hughes has, using that quick movement speed of Val and his quick reaction time to be able to get in and punish any commitment that comes out from Hughes. Neutral air's coming out, juggling axe back in. You see him pushing a little bit, putting a little bit more pressure onto Hughes immediately with that side light to go in once that axe was picked up.
Yeah, I think he's making the Lance look like an unfavorable option for the sole fact that he's like he's kind of like, for lack of a better term, what Mars does, camping in your face, okay? Like, he's like, he looks very active, and he's doing a lot of things that make you want to swing at him, but he's waiting for you to swing so he can get the hard punish. And saying that, you know, you do have to kind of commit to some level of movement whenever you swing with the Lance. Yeah, he's just waiting for that. And so now the axe doesn't look favorable. The axe doesn't look favorable because he's getting bodied. The Lance doesn't look favorable because he's now getting outspaced. It's looking like a rough match right now for Hughes.
Yeah, truly like a Matador. Just like everything looks enticing, but then just moves out of the way at the last second. And that's kind of how these last 2 matches have gone. And it's continuing to do that as we're looking at Power Ranger after he was down 2 games, looking at what could be a reverse 3-0. Gets the dare, follows up, gets the nair, looking for his way back down here. And Hughes is kind of struggling as we see another recovery come in. That's a lot of defensive resources gone again.
Even that recovery didn't get the stock. It made a connection that high in the air and didn't get a stock. He almost hit that signature. No, the recovery got priority coming out from Power Ranger, takes off the top. You called it a reverse 3 for Power Ranger.
Man, what a way to bring yourself back into this set, and in such a way that it's like it's not even a question that I should have won by this 3rd game. How do you even time that so well?
Right.
Gets through and